hated me escorting her, we took the same path back home anyway. I found just the person I was expecting to find in the dojo, but...
あ、これミスったかな。
I'd come here thinking we'd go through our usual routine, with me giving her a hard time and sidestepping her subsequent scolding. Asumi, however, was clearly not in a playful mood right now. When it came to Kendo, she didn't cut corners or make any compromises. She handled her bamboo sword with a quiet dignity, with nary a trace of her usual rambunctious demeanor to be found. Staring at her steadfast expression, I found myself starting to understand why the younger girls swooned over her. It felt like it would be wrong, somehow, to call to her, so I just leaned against the shoe rack and watched her presence. I wasn't very familiar with Kendo, but if memory served, that pose was the Seigan Kame. Seigan Kame. One of the most basic techniques. She sure was diligent. Here was someone who placed in national tournaments, staying late in order to practice their fundamentals. Well, I guess that was probably part of the reason why she was so strong. I'd been watching her for a few minutes now, but she had probably been practicing for much longer, of course. Form hadn't wavered a bit. It called to mind the image of a Buddhist priest meditating. Was this what they called clearing one's mind? As I watched her, I suddenly wondered if she had some specific reason for going out of her way to maintain a steady presence of mind like this. I mean, that was kind of the idea of martial arts in general, but...
本当に強いやつは何もしなくたって強いんだよ。
I recall what Shiro had once said while watching one of Kasumi's matches.
最初から強いやつにはリハも稽古も必要ない。武道は弱いやつが強くなろうとする手段で、だから精神論が幅利かすのさ。礼に始まり、礼に終われって、そういう具合に。元が弱いから力に耐性ないんだろうな。自分を律するのが最優先で、それができなきゃ破綻する。哀れすぎるぜ。まあ仕方ないとは思うけど、つまり、霞はそっち系だ。背伸びしてるあたり可愛いけど、生まれつきじゃないから無理してる。誰かさんとは違うのさ。まったく、なんでこんなことになったのかね。うさぎちゃんに夢見せたのはどこのドイツだ？なあ、レンちゃん。
Still remember the grin on his face as he nudged me with his shoulder. In retrospect, maybe I should have decked him right then and there.
お前、責任取ってやれよ。そもそもあんなことやったから。
Oh, give me a break. Where the hell did he get off trying to lecture me about this? Whose fault did he think it was, anyway? Pissed me off hearing that sort of thing coming from his mouth. From a risk-obsessed psychopath like him. He needed to realize he was nothing more than a fucking dumbass who liked complicating things for the hell of it. That was why I... What the hell was I doing?
どうしたの？っていうか、いつからいたの？
ああ、悪い。ちょっと声かけづらくて。
I had to be out of my mind suddenly going on a trip down that particular memory lane. I pulled my fist out of the shoe rack, my gaze wavering. This was beyond embarrassing.
その、一緒に帰ろうぜ。物騒だろう、一人だと。
どうしたのよ。変だよレン。珍しいよ。あんたがそんなこと言い出すなんて。
Aww.
いや。
No, it is. It's completely right. You got it completely right. Ignore Ren.
夜道はおっかないから、お前に守ってもらおうかなと。
Wow.
ほつまり何？あんたは自分が怖いから 私にガードしてくれと？あんたが私を守るんじゃなく？
I guess that makes sense.
その通り。
I guess. Sumi snapped.
この軟弱者が！それでも男が恥を知れ！あと今思い出した。あんた午後の授業サボったでしょ。どこ行ってたの？
屋上で寝てたんだけど。
は？屋上？信じらんない。何こいつ。呆れた。めまいがするよ。わかった、もういい。ちょっとそこで待ってなさい。着替えてくるから。
Kasumi stomped off into the changing room. I could have sworn I heard the earth shake. Poked her head back out.
覗いたら奥義食らわすからね。
Why does she have a problem with him peeking? Damn! She slammed the door shut. Well, I guess this had turned out more or less how I originally envisioned it. It seemed Kasumi was back to her usual self, if nothing else. Now I just needed to stop worrying about stuff in the past myself.
それじゃあお世話になりました。
Kasumi thanked the dojo, locked it, and then headed my way.
お待たせ。どう？何か食べてく？
いや、せっかくだからかすみが何か作ってくれよ。
でもそれだと遅くなるよ。
別にいい。どうも俺他の料理が口に合わない。
Ooh.
そうなの？
そう、昼飯は適当だったし腹減ってる。慣れないもんは食いたくないよ。
Oh, he does care.
だからかすみの料理がいい。
でも買い置きないし。
Mac and cheese.
面倒か？だったら外食で我慢するけど。
いや、そうじゃなくて、そのなんか照れるね。参ったな。そういう風に言われると下手なもの作れないっていうか。
Kasumi squirmed about for a bit, but soon collected herself.
よし、だったら私頑張っちゃうよ。
頼むわ。
Thank God she was so simple-minded. Afterward, we picked up some groceries at the supermarket and headed home together. It couldn't have much been later than 7 p.m., but there were surprisingly few people still out and about on the streets.
やっぱりみんな怖いんだね。
I mean, yeah,
だろうな。
the small town. I'm guessing maybe less than 20,000 people. Of course people would be scared. It'd have to be crazy to go out, to want to go strolling about in the city where there had been a brutal murder the previous day. The smart thing to do would have been to stay inside with your doors locked tight. Thinking about it this way, Kasumi and I were being pretty careless going out at night like this, even if we were together.
先生もね、犯人が捕まるまでは各自まっすぐ帰りなさいって。
What else would they say?
でもだったらお前なんで居残りなんかしてたんだよ。
Good question.
それはなんかもう日課になっちゃってるもんだから、今更やめるのも半端だし。
Even with the danger of a killer homicide maniac loose.
それにほら、もしかしたら犯人逮捕とか
Oh
でき
my
るかもしれないし。
god. What? So it's this kind of game, huh?
って何よその顔。もしかしてこいつバカだとか思ってるでしょ。
Never mind, it's not that the kind of game. What the hell? She's psychic or something? I guess she expected that sort of response.
お前な、そういうことは公僕に任せとけよ。なんで一女子高生が体張らなきゃならないんだよ。
そこはほら、私正義の味方だし。
Good for her.
前から思ってたけど、お前頭悪いよな。
Smash mouth.
何？ちょっとあんた失礼よ。
とにかく正義感もほどほどにしとけよな。
I don't know what sort of person the murderer was, but it was probably safe to say that he was out of his mind if he was going around decapitating people. The average person would would almost certainly struggle to maintain their cool when confronting a psychopath like that.
血まみれの凶器持ってニヤニヤ笑って多分規制上げながら襲いかかってくるやつ相手にお前の剣道がちゃんと発揮できるかどうかは微妙だぞ。自信あるのか？
どうだろうね。
Jesus.
確かにちょっと怖いかも。
だろ？
Most people have never had a fight for their lives. So the only natural to freeze up when thrust into a situation like that, only experience or a natural predisposition for that sort of thing, could help you there. Not that being experienced with or possessing a gift for life and death struggles would be a good thing, mind you.
とにかく物騒なこと考えるなよ。また稽古続けるなら俺も一緒に残るから。
嫌だレン、心配してくれてるの？
心配だよ。俺一人で帰るのマジ怖いし。
Oh my god. He's such a selfish asshole.
はあ、そうですか。いや、素直で結構だとは思うけどね。
Being honest, at least.
でもさ、だいぶ前の調子が戻ってきたね。入院したばっかりの頃はなんだか幽霊みたいになっちゃってたけど、だからね。
Sumi smiled softly, her expression feeling somehow mature.
今度何かあった時はちゃんと私に話してね。また前みたいに知らないところで無茶しちゃダメだよ。
I mean, that was spontaneous. I don't think you could stop it.
約束。
She stuck out her pinky.
ほら、
お前俺の母さんじゃないんだからさ。
そんなようなものじゃない。私に守ってほしいんでしょね。
Wondered if it might not have been better to just go along with her.
善処するよ。
よろしい。
Pinky promise. Kasumi grabbed my hand and forcibly intertwined our pinkies. Never thought I'd be engaging in a pinky square at this age. Next time something happens, be sure you tell me about it. I didn't want more stuff that I felt uncomfortable talking about what about to happen myself. I was more than over that sort of thing. Fortunately, I always seem to have bad luck keeping these sorts of promises. So this pinky swear instead seems ominous to me. Like it was a portent of some misfortune to come. Couldn't shake that feeling for the rest of the night. After eating dinner, I headed straight to bed, and as soon as I fell asleep, it began. Crimson Dream of the Guillotine. Indeed, the night was red. A beast lurked in the city. Most beasts were of a natural or a nocturnal nature. So it was only natural the hunting of this one took place during the night, and thus the night was stained crimson, with fountains of blood, with dripping pieces of meat, shattered bones, with the fading embers of life. Thus the beast satisfied its hunger, slaked its thirst in an endless cycle of limitless gluttony, continued devouring its prey. However, there were also those that hunted such beasts, or perhaps it would be more accurate to describe this kind of phenomenon as mutual predation instead. Beast in the form of a young woman spoke, a grim expression on her face. She is one of the hunters, but she was fundamentally no different from her prey. Indeed, they were one and the same. They both have become beasts through the same obscene method, and took to the hunt for the same reasons. Two beasts of the same forest. There was a difference to be found between them. It was her youth. But in this case, youth did not equate to experience. To inexperience, she had killed far more than the older beast before her. Thus she had no intention of pursuing her prey at the current time. For now, she would simply step back and observe the situation, waiting for her prey to build experience and mature. She yearned for the day her prey's fangs would grow sharp enough that she could no longer manage them. Let it be said that she was not overestimating her own strength. This was her earnest desire. A hunt would be but a mere farce if her prey was feeble enough to fall to her alone. After all, every one of the hunters was a monster, forged in the flames of hell. Her prey needed to be strong enough to hold its ground against all of them together.
まあ難しそうな話だけど。
Her words earlier did not speak of her prey's arrival. Her comrades, the hunters, had arrived instead, and thus she understood. The odds of the prey managing to reach their level were so low that they might as well have been zero. There was no one to be seen in the area. Her comrades hadn't made their presence known through sight or sound, but she could feel them here. Even if one was asleep, he or she is likely to awaken if several people enter the room, simply from sensing their presence. This was a similar phenomenon. The room that was Suohara City suddenly felt very cramped. If we posited the density of the normal person's existence was a 1, then the density of the 2 who had just arrived was more than 1,000. There could be no doubt that these monsters had devoured more than 1,000 human souls. These were man-eaters far beyond the level of any mere serial killer. They could no longer be called human in any sense of the word. This was perhaps to be expected. It meant only that they had come prepared. They had made effective use of the past 60 years, it would seem. They had no trouble telling exactly who had arrived. Who could forget such tainted, such utterly abominable souls as theirs?
まったく。
For the words, "These two are the absolute worst," had passed from her lips. The girl remembered that the descriptor, the absolute worst, applied to all of them just the same and held her tongue.
ともあれ、ようこそシャンバラへ。
ようこそ。お待ちしていましたよ、お二人とも。
I'm gonna end it right here. Hope you enjoyed this one, and hope to see you on Twitch. If you did enjoy this one, please consider following me on Twitch. I'll drop the link below in the description. Also, please consider subscribing to this channel if you enjoyed any of these videos, or this video in particular. I'll be sure to continue on with reading and having fun with this series. I'm having fun. This one's good. I like it. There's a weird role reversal with the main character Ren and side character not Yusa. I forgot her name already. The girl that likes Ren. Anyways, hope to see you again, and I'll see you later. Good night. Bye.